Greetings. I'm Jeffrey Pufall, and I'm a publicly engaged theater scholar in the Center for Arts and Medicine at the University of Florida. My work investigates how theater and the playmaking process can be used as a research tool to develop awareness around relevant health and social justice issues. My primary research methodology is participatory action research, a method that engages communities in dialogue, interviews, story circles, and other arts-based research methods in order to generate performances which become vehicles for research dissemination and critical dialogue. This presentation discusses a multi-partner, multimodal project that I directed at the University of Florida in 2018. The project serves as an example of how educators can engage the diverse resources of a university, archives, museums, and academic units, and use the arts to create knowledge and connect with community members in a relevant and meaningful way. I developed this project during a residency in the Samuel Proctor Oral History Archive at UF. I wanted to explore the intersection of oral history performance, art, and social justice, and I wanted the work to be scaffolded around special exhibits at the Harn Museum of Art. I saw the opportunity for students to explore global issues through the artwork and to connect these issues to local narratives through oral history. Ultimately, I wanted to create live performances of oral histories in the galleries and bring the public together to share in the experience.
Hi, I'm Eric Siegel, Director of Education at the Harn Museum of Art. As Director of Education and Curator of Academic Programs, I partner with faculty to support their teaching and research. I also work directly and indirectly with students, both in and outside of their classes. These efforts frame the Art Museum as a resource supporting the teaching and research missions of the university. When Jeffrey approached me with his vision for this project, I immediately recognized an opportunity to focus on an upcoming exhibition and to create rich connections to university and community audiences, including those who had not yet discovered the museum. This was an exciting opportunity to join together research, teaching, and community engagement through an innovative but replicable practice.
Oral History Performance for Social Change was a collaboration between the Harn Museum of Art, the Center for Arts in Medicine, and the Samuel Proctor Oral History Program, and it explored 1. How themes in the artwork of African-American printmaker and painter Jacob Lawrence could be connected to the history of local communities through oral history performance. 2. How students could engage with the Oral History Archive and the community around topics of race, civil rights, and inclusion.
3. How performing oral history in the exhibit could generate critical dialogue between students and community members. And 4. Ultimately, how this program could produce inclusive space in a museum.
Students registered for the course based on their desire to research local African American oral history, their interest in art, and their desire to explore how art can be a form of activism and a catalyst for social change.
At the beginning of the course, students visited the museum and identified specific works that felt important to them in the Jacob Lawrence exhibition. Lawrence's evocative prints highlight the stories of historical African diaspora figures such as John Brown, Harriet Tubman, and Toussaint Louverture, as well as images of civil rights struggles and everyday life in Black communities.
Students were encouraged to explore works that they could connect to Florida's history, and specifically the history of Gainesville and North Central Florida. The students presented the works they chose along with rationale for their choices and the themes they wished to explore, which included labor, family, migration, war, and education. The students then worked with the oral history archivists to find interviews with local Florida residents that were connected to their themes. The students spent over a month excavating oral histories, reading transcripts, and identifying interviews that had the potential to be dramatized. During our weekly meetings, we pulled out segments from transcripts, read them, and discussed their relevance to Lawrence's work. Under my guidance, each student developed a dramatic vignette from one or several interviews from the archive. They experimented with monologues, dialogues, and multi-character scenes. Each week as a class, we read the scenes together and collaboratively edited the vignettes. The stories and histories that emerged into vignettes included the story of the St. Augustine Civil Rights Movement told by local residents, the story of Old Lincoln High School in Gainesville and the cost of integration, stories from the Black business district in Ocala and Gainesville during segregation, women's roles in the Florida Civil Rights Movement, the resettlement of Rosewood, stories from African American war veterans, and the struggle for Black rights at the University of Florida.
Jeffrey and I met repeatedly during the development of the student projects and discussed a range of issues from paying actors to scheduling performances and the staging and audio challenges in the space of the museum itself, as well as outreach to attract audiences not accustomed to visiting the Harn. I felt it was important to work with Jeffrey to realize his vision and the vision of each of his students within the specific limitations of a museum, and always with a mind to drawing connections to the work of Lawrence. Throughout, we made adjustments, sought resources, and tested concepts in an iterative learning process.
I partnered with the Actors Warehouse, a local theater company, and hired a cast of local actors to perform the vignettes. During rehearsals, more stories and history was shared among the community members and the students. Well, with the exception of one, students in the course were not African American, and so these sessions provided the opportunity for intercultural collaboration and empathy building through the sharing of perspectives and lived experiences.
The vignettes were performed in the museum by the local actors who stood among the works on view in History, Labor, Life during an evening Museum Nights program. Museum Nights is a public program that welcomes students as well as the community to experience art, performance, and creative activities. The audience who came to the performance was made up from a very diverse cross-section of the local community.
Well, Marion County is not the Marion County it used to be either.
Sure ain't.
Marion County was a progressive county for Black people. You know, Ocala was a place where we didn't have to mingle with the white section of town.
Yeah, we was colored at that time. We was colored people.
Sure was.
Since we're talking about it, I'm going to tell you, I've been 4 or 5 different things in my lifetime. I've been a Negro. I've been Black. If there's one thing I am, truthfully and definitely, I am colored.
Even though, of course, they was using it derogatorily.
Yeah, I'm still colored, and I'll always be colored. But now it's this Afro-American thing they got me being now.
Ain't nobody in my family I can trace back to Africa.
Sure ain't.
Yeah, but somewhere along the line, some way back when, somewhere or another, we come from Africa. Because I'm brown-skinned, you know, they're going to say my people had to come from Africa.
Yeah.
What if they come from one of them Hawaiian islands, like Tahiti or something?
Because they brown skinned too.
Yeah.
Post-performance, the audience engaged in a powerful conversation with performers, students, and scholars on the histories and issues presented in the theatrical pieces. The project provided the foundation for critical discussion around Black history, inclusion, health disparities, and the importance of acknowledging the difficult pasts of the United States, the South, and our immediate region here in Florida.
My name is Maria Riddles Latson, and you were me. When you said about the baby, it was my son's 7th birthday. And me shake your hand, you got my daddy down. There's not one of your vignettes that did not directly touch my life.
This project combined applied research, oral history, and performance practice, and connected students to the work of Lawrence, the history of the region, and to the Gainesville community.
We see the project as a model for other institutions who wish to connect with communities and invite them into their museums to celebrate their stories and create community dialogue. The Lawrence exhibition presented an opportunity to explore the lives and histories of African Americans in performances that were powerful and meaningful for all audiences. Crucially, the project that Jeffrey led catalyzed research and teaching and drew on the rich resources of a university to welcome and involve local communities.
Subsequently, the vignettes have been filmed and incorporated into a full-length play called From Color to Black. This play contextualizes the vignettes within a contemporary view of Black identity and leverages the vignettes to discuss systemic racism in America. I use the video of the play as a platform to discuss the social determinants of health and health disparities in the African American community in America with students. This video is free and available for educators nationally who wish to use it in their programs. Thank you very much.